moving towards our second session of this one-week training program, it is our proud privilege and fortune to welcome Dr. Salma Shaheen Ma'am, Principal Women's Polytechnic, Aligarh Muslim University, as the resource person for session 2 titled Applications of Search Engines and Searching Strategies in Research. Dr. Shaheen has a teaching experience of more than 33 years. She has presented and contributed a significant number of papers in conferences in India and abroad, and has also published large number of papers in referred and peer-reviewed national and international journals. She is also a reviewer of Science PG Group journal in the area of advances in wireless communications and networks. Dr. Shaheen is also a member of editorial board of international journals of research in engineering and innovation. Her academic interest lies in the area of multimedia system, computer network, IT, entrepreneurship, and optimization technique. So may I request our second speaker for the evening, Dr. Salma Shaheen Ma'am, to enlighten us with her knowledge.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our today's topic of discussion is applications of search engines and searching strategies in research. And I think this is the topic of great contemporary importance and usefulness. And I'm also sure that most of you might be too good in searching relevant or educational resources from internet. But here today we'll see different techniques and different types of operators that would really be helpful in finding educational resources from internet. So before I go into details of all these tools and techniques, first of all, I would like to familiarize you with some of the commonly used terms in internet. As you can see in this slide, there are two terms. One is HTTP and HTTPS. So these days, you might have noticed that most of the sites, they start with HTTPS. The concept of HTTP is old, and all these new websites, most of the websites, they contain a character S. So who would like to tell me what for this S stands, and if HTTPS is there and if S is not there, what's the difference? Yes, who would like to? Yeah? Have you ever noticed this S? Websites with S and without S. Okay, good. S is there. Huh? So apart from these bank and other confidential work, many other sites these days, they contain character S, which is for security. And it indicates that between the server and the user, right? Whatever request you are sending to any server and receiving the response from that server, that would be secured, right? Why secured? Because the transmission would be encrypted. So nobody can tap the information in between. And if somebody is tapping the information, that information would be encrypted. So person will not be able to identify exactly what you have transmitted, sometimes your password, some PIN and all that. That's why character S is there. So with the help of this picture, you can clearly understand the difference and will really appreciate the difference between the first figure is for HTTP and this one is for HTTPS. So whatever I'm saying, it is illustrated with the help of these two figures. And as you can see, a user, like you person using this, and this is the server. So the connection, transmission and reception of data would be insecure if your website starts from HTTP, right? And in the second case, which is HTTPS, the communication between these two would be encrypted. Why it would be encrypted? The reason is there is one digital secure certificate known as SSL, and it is installed on the server. So whenever you are doing any confidential work, please make sure whether your website is secure or not. And then this is the list of web browsers. May I know what web browser do you use? Yes, would you like to tell me? Huh? Be louder, please. Chrome, Google Chrome here. What about you? Which browser do you use? So the commonly used browsers, as two of you have told me, using browser, Mozilla Firefox. Some are using Internet Explorer. In addition to that, we are having many more, like Dragon also, Opera also, and there is a long list. So you should be familiar that there is many other browsers apart from Google Chrome and Firefox. Then very quickly we'll have a look on Google services at a glance. And these services, 5 I have listed over here, and these are really very helpful and useful, especially for researchers, starting from Google Alert. How many of you have already set this Google Alert for your research work, for your project, for your dissertation, or for any other academic work? Okay. It seems that people are not using Google Alert. And then we have Google Translator, Google Books, Google Scholar, and Google Patent Search. Starting from Google Alert, this is useful for your research work because with the help of this, you can get the latest information on the topic, right? For which you have put the alert. You may type your keywords, you may type your phrase, you may type the complete title of your thesis, project, dissertation, and then Google will send you latest information, whatever latest is going on in that particular area around the world. So very quickly, whether it is conferences, workshops, or any other research paper, anything new, you will get it from here. And you can put more than one Google alert. It's not like that at a time one is possible. You may have more than one. And whenever you feel like, you may remove this, you may change it depending upon your requirement. So as it is mentioned over here, that it will find the latest material from web pages, from newspaper, articles, blogs, from everywhere. This is the page of Google Alert, wherein you can type your query here. As I said, maybe complete research topic, and from where you want the results, maybe from everywhere, books, magazines, like that, or restricted to academic journals. And then how often, once in a day, twice weekly, once monthly, this also you can set. And whether you are interested in best results or everything you want to retrieve. So all these from drop-down arrow you can set, and then type your email ID, create alert. Frequently you will be getting latest information on that. So this was about Google Alert, but other companies are also having their alerts. As you can see, this does not belong to Google, but here also exactly same options you are having. My topic is nutrition here, let's say, and then once again you can set all that and then create alert. Second is Google Translator. So whenever you want to translate from one language to another language, you can set from here, like who are you, how this would be written and pronounced in Thai language is given here. But what happens that we cannot pronounce how are you exactly in the same way as Thai people are doing it. So for that, you can learn it from this speaker. You may press it as many times as you want and can learn the accent also, style also, maybe for Thai language, Spanish, Chinese, or whatever. Then same thing for Chinese language. Next service of Google is Google Books. Are you using this, taking advantage or benefit of this Google Books? Yes or no? Yes. So this is, must say, a largest comprehensive database for scanned copy of full text books. And this can give you the index of all full text books, because Google is keeping or storing all these scanned copy in its digital database. This is the page from where you can type the name of the book, and also as it is mentioned here, that it will give you the indexing of all full text books across the world. Then next is Google Scholar. How many of you are using this Google Scholar, or can somebody tell me the importance or the significance of Google Scholar?
Finding the new research related to your topic, and easily it will be available.
So how come it is different from your Google Chromes or the searching by search engine? What is so special in your Google Scholar?
Ma'am, it exactly go through the papers. Ma'am, it exactly go through the your original papers
Okay.
without any uh, uh, email ID or without any. You can easily go to that.
Okay. So as its name implies, this Google Scholar is different from your other Google search, because the other search engines are searching the web, complete web, these search engines are searching. But if you are using Google Scholar, this is used to find out only scholarly articles, your research papers from various reputed journals and from conference proceedings. So this is the advantage, and also from many scholarly societies. So all work related to your academic or only and only educational resources you can get with the help of Google Scholar. We can say that it is a specially designed search engine for searching scholarly articles from various scholarly resources. So this is the page, and when you open this Google Scholar, here you will get my profile, can click here and can enjoy the benefits of this Google Scholar. Apart from Google, there are many other scholarly search engines. List is given over here. Have you heard the name of any scholarly search engine out of all that? Maybe ISI Web of Science? Yeah. Yes? Or maybe Infomine, and there is another one, Librarians Internet Index. All these, they do not belong to Google, but the purpose remains the same. This is the first page of Librarians Internet Index, and it is a type of directory which is arranged subject-wise or in hierarchical fashion, as you can see, arts and humanities, computers, and many more. And this consists of more than 10,000 internet resources. So this is the best place to visit whenever you are looking for any scholarly articles. Sometimes you may try this if you have not used this before. And then another very popular scholarly search engine is ISI Web of Science. Can somebody tell me the full name of ISI? This is Institute of Scientific Information, and this is mainly for indexing citations, but can also be used for topic searching. Similarly, it gives the indexing of bibliography, and the most interesting feature of this is about 1.7 billion cited references, over 159 million records are available on this web of science. But for your information, this is paid platform which will give you access to multiple data resources from various reputed journals, peer-reviewed journals, and from conference proceedings for getting references and citations. So this is good site whenever you are searching. Then the last service of Google is Google Patent Search. This search engine is used for searching, for finding, for locating patents and patent applications. When you open this page, there is also option, if you are interested in some non-patent literature also, you can check this box and can get both. So for searching patents and patent application, there is another facility which is for advanced search. In advanced search, you can locate, you can find out patents by giving the name of the assignee, name of the inventor, name of the office, the code or the number. That is known as advanced patent search. Another quick searching for images or with the help of QR codes. I'm sure this you would be using in your day-to-day activities. Are you trying this or not? QR codes and searching images with Google Lens, right? So whatever is mentioned over here, is it okay? Do you agree with this? So these dots, you may click here, this will pop up. From here, you can select search images with Google Lens. Similarly, with QR code also, that can also be done. Any page, instead of giving URL, you can search it with its QR code. So with the help of can click or put any picture in front of the lens. Related to that, you will get the response. These are the results of related images, whatever you have selected in front of your Google. For advanced search, this advanced search is for images also, books also, anything related to finance, flights, and many more. So at present, this screen is for general advanced search. But if you are interested in books or images, accordingly you can select as from here, can select books. Go here, which is your gear for setting, can select the advanced search, and then this window will pop up wherein you can type the title of the book, its ISSBN number or publisher, name of the publisher, writer, and all that for searching books. So this one is for advanced searching for books. Similarly, you can do it for images as shown over here. From here, select the gearbox, go in advanced search. Now, the window will indicate advanced image search. Like in previous case, it was book search, but here it is image search. And images you can find with the help of any color, right? With the help of its resolution, with the help of its size, with shape, and what else? Aspect ratio also, and many more provisions are given. So by typing here, you can exactly go to that image, whatever you are looking for. Now, our next slides are based on invisible web, which is also known as deep web. On internet, there is some portion of the web that cannot be searched, that cannot be retrieved, cannot be seen by your standard search engine. By using traditional standard search engines, you cannot find some portion of the web. That's why this is known as invisible web. So what may be the reason for that? Why it is not visible with the help of some conventional type of search engines? The reason may be many. For example, that particular document that you are looking or searching may be behind the firewall, or it may be password protected, or it may be in a specialized file format that cannot be handled by your traditional search engine, or may have limited access by using CAPTCHA. So these are the reasons of deep web or invisible web. So let's say you want to search material from these invisible portion also, then what we can do, or generally what you are doing? How can you go to that which cannot be seen easily, cannot be seen by conventional type of search engines? In that case, what you are doing? Yes, would you like to reply? No. Okay, so for web, generally three terms we are using, or we can say all contents on the web can be classified into three. That is surface web, dark web, and deep web. Surface web, as you can see from the picture, is available for general public, for everyone, and can be obtained with the help of any traditional or any standard search engine. You will find all the contents of surface web for your day-to-day activities. But as I said, deep web is in the last. This you cannot easily retrieve. And then in between these two, the portion of the web which is known as dark web, this is basically subset of deep web, and this is intentionally hidden either by using passwords or by using encryption, right? So for that, what we can do for second and the third one, meaning for getting access to dark web or for getting access to deep web, there are some directories or there are some special search engines that can be used to find contents of this dark web and the contents of your deep web. One example is Complete Planet. Complete Planet. What is Complete Planet? This is basically a deep web directory, especially designed for exploring the contents of deep web. So this is the name of the directory that can be used to find out contents from deep web. This is the picture of Complete Planet, and there are more than 70,000 databases. 70,000 searchable databases you can obtain from Complete Planet, starting from arts and humanities to music to religion, science, everything. So this is one way to get the access to deep web contents. Similarly, few more strategies can be applied to obtain the content which are obscure, which are purposely, intentionally hidden, that can also be retrieved by using few more tactics as mentioned over here. For accessing this invisible web, either you can use library gateways or you can have subject-specific databases. Two things, one is library gateways and another is subject-specific databases, with the help of which directly you can reach to that portion, that content. So what is actually library gateway? This is the collection of databases, collection of various databases and informational sites arranged subject-wise and reviewed by a specialist known as librarian. And these library gateways also support your research and references. Some examples of library gateways are given over here, and I'm sure you might have heard the name before. That is Digital Librarian, once again InfoMind. We have already seen Librarians Index to the internet, like that. So these are known as library gateways used for getting access to invisible web. Another option we have for subject-specific databases, which are also known as VORTLs. The VORTL meaning vertical portal. I'm sure both these names you are already familiar with. One is web portal, another is VORTL, starting from V, which indicates that these VORTLs are having specific information on any particular subject, in any particular field, in any particular topic, and therefore they are maintained by experts, researchers, professionals, professors, scientists, or maybe government agencies to maintain all that, or whoever is having expert or good deep knowledge in that particular area are maintaining these subject-specific databases. As mentioned here, that for health information, you may explore WebMD. Similarly, for travel, you may explore this one. And for educational information, can see this like that. These are all subject-specific databases, and they are known as VORTLs because in-depth information in any particular topic, vertical information in any particular subject. On the other hand, portal, they are general type, having, can say, having horizontal information, है ना, ऊपर ऊपर से जो information होती, that. So for accessing invisible web, some search engines and directories you have seen, subject-specific databases and library gateways we have already gone through for accessing invisible web. Now once again we'll come to the general accessing. Of course we'll stick to educational resources because this is mainly for researchers, for research scholars. Directories can be used sometimes when you are not able to get the relevant material. Can try these directories. Are you using directories or using only Google search engine? Have you ever tried directories also? Okay, so this is one way of accessing internet. All directories can be classified, broadly classified into two categories, that is general purpose directory, which is also known as all subject directory, and a subject specific directory. General purpose and subject specific. all general purpose directories are maintained in hierarchical fashion, and also they are maintained by human beings. Okay? So, general purpose directories, they are in alphabetical order. We'll have a quick look how your general purpose directories appears. This is the list of general purpose directories. Like Google is here, Lycos, Look Smart, and what else? Yahoo, and many more. Don't get confused. Google search engine also we are having, and directory of Google also we have. So this we are talking about Google directory, as we have Yahoo directory. So like just now it seems that many of you are not using directories for searching contents on the web. I'm having this impression, maybe I'm wrong, because nobody has given any response on directories. So here we can see what's the advantage of using directory. All these you can get with Google Chrome also, then what's the need to learn about directories? With the directory, you can get more focused search, can find out some obscure items also, can save your time, and can get lower recalls and much better results. These are the advantages of directories. But every time, everywhere, we cannot use the directory. We must know that where we shall use directory and where shall we use search engine, because our standard phrase, right tool at right place. You would be successful if you are applying right tool at right place. So you should have a knowledge of this. We'll discuss this also. Like this one is for Yahoo directory. Otherwise, you can simply type dir/, press enter, you will get the list and can select any directory of your choice. So here I have taken, for example, Yahoo. The first step is, as I said, it is arranged in alphabetical order or in hierarchical fashion, because these are maintained by human beings. Starting from arts and humanities, then business, and so out of all that, I have selected health. From this list, let's say I have selected health. In second step, health is very general word. What are you looking for? Whether you are interested in children's health, male's health, female's health, animal's health, or it may be anything else. So you have to specify the type of health you are interested. So here I have selected men's health. Now in the third step, you will get only limited links, and all these links will have relevant information on males or men's health, as you can see from the result. Very few results you will obtain, because generally directories are smaller. As I said, they are maintained by human being, so a limited database is there, and out of that limited database, whatever is most relevant to your search query, the result would be based on that. Then another is your subject specific directory, as it itself indicates the meaning of this, related to any particular subject, maybe maths, maybe chemical engineering, maybe architecture, or any particular subject, and then you can explore your contents from there. After that, there is some information on online resources of Indian higher education, in which the most popular is National Digital Library of India. See, its name is National Digital Library of India. Here you will get contents related to education, academics, but within Indian platform, I must say. And everything, whether it is books, articles, audios, videos, and some thesis, projects, dissertations, everything you can get here. And additional feature of this library is there is single window search facility. Single window search facility. So this can be obtained. This is the first page of National Digital Library, and it contains, as you have already seen, all types of audios, videos, books chapters, research papers of all level, starting from primary to postgraduate. That big reservoir, that big repository, starting from primary school to post-graduation. So after post-graduation, we'll come to dissertations, your thesis and synopsis. For that, there is an Indian platform or Indian reservoir or Indian repository known as Shodh Ganga and Shodh Gangotri. Have you tried this? What it is basically? What for do we use this Shodh Ganga or Shodh Gangotri?
For example, when I was deciding on my topic, then I didn't have clearly an idea how to go about it.
Yes.
Just to come from whole to part, I read a lot of topics, and I used to read the introduction of each thesis, and I used to frame in my mind that how I can go about my topic.
Okay.
So I got a really good data on that.
All right. So from her experience, we can say that really this is a good place to explore, and she has made the best use of it.
It is.
So there are two platforms. One is Shodh Ganga, and another is Shodh Gangotri. If you have to see the full text doctoral thesis, complete thesis, so whether teachers or researchers, they may submit, they may deposit their awarded full text thesis on this platform, so the entire scholarly community can make best use of this, can read, can go through, can understand. And similar, so on this, till date, we have more than 2.6 lakhs Indian doctoral thesis on this platform. You can imagine how big this reservoir is. And your Shodh Gangotri is for posting, for submitting your synopsis. When we are submitting synopsis, whenever you are interested in registration, before that you have to submit your synopsis. So synopsis meaning from Shodh Gangotri, you can see what are various topics in India on which research is going on, because Shodh Gangotri is for posting your synopsis. Till date, here are more than 7,000 synopses are there. So sometimes, as she said, not very sure about the topic, what we'll do, and can take similar topic and all that. This would be really helpful. This is the first page of Shodh Ganga project. Similarly, this is for Shodh Gangotri. So this, we were talking in Indian scenario, right? As I said, whatever is going on in India related to research, that. But now we'll move at global level and see, let's say outside India you want to explore what is going on, whatever topic you have in your mind for doing your PhD, for doing your research, can be collected, can be seen from ETDs, right? Can be collected from ETDs. This is across the world or at global level. The first place is Network Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertations. As its name sounds, this will give you the catalog from 176 universities and 27 institutions worldwide for doctoral dissertation and thesis. Similarly, the another one is known as ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Database. From here, all over the world, you can obtain information over 2.3 million titles. 2.3 million titles, all that can be obtained from here. So this is the first page of Network Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertation, and this one is for ProQuest. Now we'll move to some specific type of databases. Some specific type of databases which are really good for researchers. So for that, for researchers, all can be classified into three. Once again, broadly classified into three. Sometimes you may make the best use of these databases, and these three are bibliographic database, numeric database, and full text database. Really, this is interesting, useful, fruitful databases for research. As the first one, this is one example of bibliographic is ERIC. It stands for Educational Resources Information Center. Educational Resources Information Center, or sometimes known as ERIC. And then numerical databases and full text database. From here, you can get all full text information. That's why its name is full text databases. Here, which is ERIC, more than 1.2 million of bibliographic and links to full text from different academic journals can be obtained. This is the first page of ERIC. You can type your keywords here and can get the information. This gives you a bibliographic this thing. And then third one, which is Science Direct database, which is the example of your full text database. What is the purpose of this full text database? From here, books chapters from more than 2,500 peer-reviewed journals, and also more than 11,000 books. This can be obtained from Science Direct database. So three databases sometimes you may try for your research. Now we'll come to a general type of searching that generally most of us are doing for searching any material. Okay? So all search engines can be classified into two, that is major search engine and your meta search engine. So major, it seems many of you are using. Any idea about meta search engine or what it is? What is the purpose of meta search engine? Participants, can somebody reply? Yes, ma'am, would you like to? Naam suna? No, okay. Your good name, please?
No idea.
No idea. What about you? Doing research? Sorry? Architecture. Any one of you? Meta search engine? Are you using? Yes. Can you give some information to your friends so that they can get the idea?
Meta search. Hello. Meta search engine retrieve the different results from the common search engines index. The documents which are indexed by the common search engine, those meta search engine use or meta search engine retrieve the different document from the search from the common search engine index.
Okay.
For
So,
example, DuckDuckGo Dogpile.
For example?
DuckDuckGo Dogpile.
Good, good. So it seems you are having idea about meta search engine. So major search engine like your Google. Mhm. Meaning of meta is, one is major. From here you can see major meaning whenever you are sending your query for obtaining information, it will find the result only and only from its own database. From its own database, whatever search engine you are using. Say for example, if you are using Google, you will get the result no matter how big it is, but you will get the result only from database of Google. That's why this engine is known as major search engine. On the other hand, meta search engine, as your friend has already given the idea, meta meaning more than one. So the basic difference, if you want to find out results from more than one search engine simultaneously, then you can apply meta search engine. This example, which is Dogpile, he has also given the name of that. So this is Dogpile. Dogpile, if you are using, then it will send your query to multiple search engines like Bing also, like Google also, like Yahoo also, like ASK also. So at the same time, you are exploring so many things. Like for getting any book from the library, you can see your Samala library also, architecture department library, engineering college library, and your Azad library, exploring many in one time. Of course, this is quite useful so that you can save your time. Thank you. Excuse me, please. Jazakallah. This is the list of major search engines. Major meaning, if you are using this Excite, Yahoo, Alta Vista, Google, you will get information from its own database. That's it. But if you'll explore meta search engine, as there are many, but the quite popular ones are Dogpile, Metacrawler, IX, Quake, Clusty, and many more. So these search engines, meta search engine, can save your time, right? Because sending your query simultaneously to more than one search engine, and depending upon which out of all that, which one you are using, okay? Another important feature of meta search engine is, since it is sending your queries to many databases, it will merge all duplicate entries into one. Wherever duplicate entries are there, it will prepare one convenient format and will also give you the ranking of that particular website with the help of stars. So very quickly you can say 5 stars, meaning this is the good site, right? So the advantage of meta search engine, preparing results in convenient format, merging duplicate entries, and also giving you the ranking of that website or ranking of that link, can save your time and can provide much better results. So this is for IX Quick. Here you may type your phrase, your keyword, your search queries, and then click search. These are the results. My topic was entrepreneur. So based on entrepreneur, these are the results. As you can see, having 4 stars, then 3, 3, 3. So this one is the best. All these, they are having 3. The last one is having 1, giving you ranking. This one, is it okay? Same as the screen, are you familiar? So this Dogpile, which is the example of meta search engine, you can see it will cover If you'll use Dogpile as search engine, it will cover entire Google, entire Yahoo database, entire MSN and ASK, and will give you the results. Here you may type your phrase and can see. Similarly, we have one more example known as Clusty. So apart from these IXQuake, Metacrawler, Dogpile, Clusty, what do you think, how many meta search engines would be there? Rough idea? Do you think there would be 100 or more than 100 or few only? What is your guess? Long list, long list. Please have a quick look. This is the list of meta search engine, and from this list you can see its database. For example, if using Excite, will cover your Google, your Yahoo, your Bing. Searching PDF from here. Similarly, for everything, what are the databases, corresponding databases for these search engines, that you may get the idea. So one more list. As here you can see Monster Crawler, this one Google, Yahoo and Bing. Some more. In addition to that, they are language specific also, like your Japanese meta search engine, Dutch search engine, Spanish search engine, German search engine also. So the list of 100 is here. There are many more. So which should not be restricted to only one type of search engine. Maybe Google must try your search queries from different tools like directories, subject specific databases, some portals also. All that you may try to get much better results. So we have already seen web directories and search engines. Detailed discussion we have already done on web directories and web search engines. So as I said, if you are using right tool at right place, you would be successful. Your working would be efficient, right? One thing can be done by using different tools, but which one is perfect tool for cutting paper, let's say for doing any other work, perfect tool should be used. So here also, and this is important because these days the number of web pages on the internet is increasing day by day. Every school, each and every shop, everybody is having their own website. People are having their own web pages. So there are millions and billions of web pages, and looking a specific piece of information from these pages, I can say it is as difficult as looking for a needle in a haystack. Right? That's why it is important that we should know about these tools, tricks, strategies and techniques to get good results efficiently. So my question is, where you would like to use directory and where would you like to use search engine? I'm talking in general. Web directory is also general type of web directory. Similarly, search engine is also general search engine. So what is your idea, your guess? What do you think?
Mainly the search engine where I have get an idea which topic is related to that and
Okay.
give a brief.
Mhm.
And directly I have no idea about
Okay,
that.
okay, good, good. See, for that it is important to know the difference between search engines and web directories. Web directories are maintained by human beings. Links for web directories, human beings are adding. On the other hand, your search engines are gathering links automatically because this is automated or machine-based search engines, right? While here, meaning talking about directory, are maintained by human. As I said, that's why they are having limited material because human beings are maintaining and managing this. So, whenever your search is related to any particular subject, related to any particular field, related to any particular area, then you must use any type of web directory, right? But if it is not like that, you can explore search engines. So if I am asking which one is better, it is difficult to reply, but the last paragraph is important to conclude the difference between directories and the search engine. With the help of directories, you will always get limited or few results, but these results would be precise. Lower recalls, lower results, but precise. On the other hand, with the help of search engines, you will get long lists, meaning higher recalls, but lower precision. Now you have to see the requirement in which you are interested based on the last one. Whether you are interested in quality or you are interested in quantity, then accordingly you may use. So this was for deciding whether to use or where or when to use directory and when to use search engine. Now, we'll see what actually we are searching from internet. When we are saying what are you doing, some people they are saying I am surfing internet, some I am searching internet, I am exploring internet. So sometimes we say there is no difference between searching, between surfing, between exploring, but there is a difference between searching and browsing. So for using right tool at right place, it is important you should have the answer of these three questions. You may ask yourself, what is your aim? What are you trying to search? What are you looking for? So first one is see what is available. If you just want to have a cursory look, that is known as browsing. Let's say you may take any book and can see the table of contents, wherein you will get the information that this chapter, and in this chapter, these are the contents, these are. So that is known as just browsing, having an idea that what are the contents inside that book. But if you are really looking for a specific piece of information, then this is known as searching, that you can obtain from the index of the book, at the backside of the book, this particular topic on this page number. So directly you can go there to pick that information. So I hope now the meaning of browsing and searching, browsing is something like table of content of your book, and searching is like your index. And then sometimes we are not sure, preparing any speech or any invited talk, anything whatever is available on the internet, maybe from books, from blogs, from magazines, from anywhere, then you may go for the third one, that is retrieving everything, and then we'll compile and see. So first of all, based on the answer to these three questions, we can use either directory or meta search engine or major search engine. If you are doing browsing, it is better to use subject directory, and after that, for the same topic, after that you may apply meta search engine. But if you are searching, in that case, it is better to use some major search engines, and for retrieving everything, you can check the boxes, all books, all magazines, journals, maps, everything. Then now, there are some quick searching tips. One is known as numeric ranges. Have you ever tried this? Any one of you? Just to shorten your search, to save your time, to obtain better results. Have you tried these numeric search? Right, exactly same thing. Huh? Like you are applying filters for shopping, here also you are interested in any edition. Let's say looking for Windows operating system. Maybe I have given old example, XP 2003 to 2005 or Windows 8 to 10, right? You want to purchase this. Then you may type 2 dots in between, and also it is important to write the unit of measurement, whether it in terms of rupees or dollars, or it may be meters, centimeters, millimeters, or whatever. Then click search. So you will get restricted items. So sometimes you may try these 2 dots, and sometimes you may try, instead of these 2 dots, you may try these 2 tilde, right? 2 tilde. So my requirement was, I want to purchase one Windows laptop in between rupees 80,000 to 1 lakh rupees, 2 tilde or 2 dots, then press enter. All results would be based on minimum and maximum value, whatever you have given. So this one you may try. And for quick searching, from this setting gear, can go on this page. How many results you want? 10, 20, 30 or 100. Of course, if limited results you can get quickly, but if you are sitting at 100 will take some time. So this is very small type of small tip that can also be applied for quick searching. Then some signs may also be used, which is plus and minus sign. Any term that you are interested in your results, you want to see in your results, for that you must put plus sign, and wherever or whatever item you are not interested must put minus. Make sure there should not be space or any gap between the sign and the word. As given over here, you are interested in mango dishes but not interested in pickles. So plus mango, plus dishes, minus pickles. Now your result will exclude all pickles recipes from the results. Only mango and dishes would be there. So this may also be tried sometimes. And then double quotes, straight quotes or smart quotes can also be used. So the meaning of these quotes, you are giving instruction to your search engine to find out global warming. Both these words should be at one place. All results must contain both these words at same place. It should not be like that. Global is at one place and warming is at another place, right? So for that, sometimes we are using quotes. This is the purpose of then shall we use small letters or capital letters for searching for your phrase, for your keywords? Small letters or capital letters, or maybe any, because search results are not case sensitive. What is your idea? What is your opinion? Have you ever tried this? What happens if you're typing your phrase in small letters, and what happens if you're typing in capital letters? Will there be any difference or not? Yes or no? Yes? What difference would be there? Yes, carry on please.
I don't know if it's true or not, but if we are typing in uppercase, so the result would be specific. The result would be specific, and if we type in the lowercase, the result won't be that specific.
All right. What about, have you ever tried, or what is your guess? Do you think, is it going to make any difference or no difference? Meaning searching is not case sensitive, is it? Sorry? कोई फर्क नहीं होगा, है ना? Sorry? Okay. So more than 90% search engines, they cannot recognize whether your search is written in small letters or capital letters, meaning result will not be based on this. As given in this slide, whether you are typing in capital like technology was there, codes, whether you are putting codes or not, because many search engines, they cannot recognize neither codes nor whether it is in capital or small, so not going to make much difference for most of the search engines. And then sometimes can apply this domain searching, like this one example, can write site, colon, no space between these colon and this edu school. So directly whatever the pages are hosted in these domain names, whether it is government or military or commercial or educational, can get information from there. So this is known as domain searching. Similarly, host searching. The host, which is wherever your web pages are hosted. So directly you can reach to that host to find out this one, whatever is your. So here also, no space between colon and that. This is directly searching from that particular host. And then some Boolean operators can also be used for quick searching. Three commonly used Boolean operators are AND, OR, and NOT. So these are really useful. Let's say your query is, you have to make one assignment, say for example, and the topic of the assignment is 17th century history of South India. So this is one way of typing in Google search and can get the result. You may type this 17th century, capital letters for Boolean operator and history and South India. In that case, your result will not include the links for North India, East India, 16th century or anything else. Specifically, you will get exactly the same. So what you are applying your conditions. I need this also, this also, this also, right? It's strictly telling search engine this, this, this. Then of course, let's say your requirement for purchasing any kurta or scarf is, it should be pure cotton. Length should be 2 meters and 25 centimeters. Color should be bright pink and few more. It is difficult to get because you are saying pink also, particular pink color and 2.25 meters and a scarf and pure cotton. You have to explore few shops. But if your requirement is any scarf of pink color, maybe any material, you can get that quickly. So if you want to narrow down your search, in that case, you must use AND Boolean operator, as you have seen this example. But if you want to broaden your search, in that case you may use OR. Either you may get this or this. Whatever you are getting, you are happy, because my requirement was either to take this or this one. So like here, one example, you want to explore the list of hotels in Bangalore. You may type Bangalore and hotels and not 5-star. In that case, from your list result queries, all these 5-star would be excluded. Only and only you will get hotels less than 5-star, or maybe and not 7-star also you may add. So you are restricting this and giving clear indication to your search engine whatever you are looking for. So we can have a quick look on Boolean operators and can see some results also, so that you can believe that really it works. Right? These are the results of Boolean operators. As I said, we would be discussing only three important ones, that is or, not, and. Let's say there are two terms, one is jazz and another is blues. These are the terms related to your music, right? So you may type jazz or blues, jazz and blues, jazz, not blues. So the meaning of these three is clear, but really you can see the result also. Otherwise you may think that it does not actually work, but here I am telling you, but actually it does not. So for that, you may see the results. These are the ones. First time you have applied, jazz or blues, how many sets? 32. Why? Because I said or is used for broadening your search, right? And out of these two terms, either you are getting information related to jazz or blues, you are happy because your query was jazz or blues. Then, so 32 links you would be receiving. And then if you are applying jazz and blues, as I said, and is used for reducing, to make your search less tedious, or you can say to narrow down your search, then jazz and blues, this time you would be receiving only 9. Previous case 32, now 9. And then not blues, meaning from the results that you have obtained, out of that blues would be subtracted, right? So such links would be only 12. So sometimes you may also try these Boolean operators. These are really good. And whenever you are typing your phrases or keywords for searching in any search engine or in any directory, you should write it properly. The meaning of properly is, like one example, this is related to game, lacrosse or soccer and history. These are soccer, everybody is familiar. Can somebody tell me what is lacrosse? Have you ever played this game? Or can guess what it is? There is one, one racket in which net is there. There's one net in cap shape. Anyway, can take any other example. So this is lacrosse or soccer and history. If you are typing like this, you will receive about 80 items, and results would be based, because your search engine will combine soccer and history, because you are not clearly indicating in which result you are interested. You have simply typed the keywords. So your search engine will find out soccer and history. But actually you are looking for history of lacrosse or history of soccer. But unfortunately, your results would be like that, because there is no clear-cut instructions for your search engine. Therefore, you must type this query like this, meaning must enclose this in brackets or parenthesis and history. Now only 60 items would be received, and whatever you are looking for will actually get, because you are saying either the history of lacrosse or the history of soccer. This time it will combine lacrosse and soccer, because the property of your search engine is it starts searching this word, it will take first, right? from left to right, left to right, left to right. Therefore, whenever you are writing, the most important word you must write first. If you are interested in soccer, actually, you should get more material on soccer, then must type soccer first, followed by lacrosse. So all these tricks, techniques, sometimes you can try and can see. I'm sure you can get better results. Some more can apply wildcards. Wildcards you can apply anywhere. Let's say in your phone, in your laptop, there is so much of material, and sometimes we are not able to recognize to find out that file which we are looking for. Similarly, in laptop and desktop, plenty of folders, files, computers, printers and whatnot. And we are not able to recall the exact name. In that case, and also this can be applied for net surfing searching also, and for searching files folders also. So there are two wildcards, one is a star, another is question mark. Whenever you are using a star, this will add 0 character, right? And if you are typing question mark, it will add more than one alphanumeric, meaning more than one number or character. So we'll have a quick look how it works. See, you are looking for a file, but full name you cannot recall because long time back there was a file and its name was gloss or maybe glossy or maybe gloss 1 or glossary, what it was, not able to recall. In that case, you may type gloss and put this star. No space, can put this star. So since the meaning of a star is to add 0 or more characters, so with gloss, what we can make? Either glossy or glossary or this kind. So extension name, either you may write txt or doc or .pdf. In that case, the format of the file would be restricted. Otherwise, you can explore all gloss and glossary. But if you are putting question mark meaning will add only one alphanumeric, one character is allowed. Therefore, if you are writing here once again gloss, in that case it will find out only files if its name is glossy or gloss 1 or gloss 2. So these are the importance of your wildcards, the two, that is a star and question mark subtype. And I'm very sure this new young generation and researchers, they are well familiar with Google Assistant, which includes your Google Lens. What else? 3D images. So all of you are trying this Google Assistant. There is no need to. So whenever you are not able to read, to pronounce anything correctly, you may apply this one and can type listen word by word. It will read for you so that you can get the idea how you have to pronounce. And then if outside India and any road sign or anything in different language, simply you can keep your Google Lens here and convert it into English. This is in Germany, so the meaning is keep the exit clear. And then this one, this flower was in my flower vase, but I was not familiar with its name and its other features. So simply I've used Google Lens and it will give you the name of the flower, its feature, where it is available, everywhere. After that I tried this on fruit chart. This I have made fruit chart, some pomegranate and kiwi is there. Quickly it has recognized pomegranate and kiwi as well, but not able to recognize this fruit. The reason is I have removed the skin of this. This is guava, but it is not. Sometimes recognizing as apple, sometimes some more pear and all, but not. So every time it is not that smart. Recognize pomegranate and kiwi, but not able to recognize this. Similarly, for your this AR virtual reality, there are so many animals that you can have a look in 3D and in your present space, let's say you are sitting here, the lion or the tiger or this thing would be in front of you, as if it is really, it is standing in front of you while you are attending classes. So this is good for explaining, understanding for kids and all. So that's all about the searching techniques, and now I would like to say we must embrace all these tools and techniques, should not stick to Google search only, and should have the idea about the Boolean operators, some plus minus sign and all. You have seen so many things, and I have told you plus minus also, not also, and not also. The reason is the logical concept is same, but some search engines will not recognize Boolean operators, some search engines will not recognize plus and minus, some will not recognize tilde, some will not recognize dots. So you can get some idea about the search engines and can apply these and can use directories as well. Thank you so much for patient hearing. Thank you so much.
I would now like to open the house for questions and answers. We will first take the questions from our online participants. Those who are having any query from our online participants can ask directly. Okay. Any queries from the room? That's it. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your aura has lent a beautiful charm to the session. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Oh, we are having a question from.
Ma'am, my name is Rudra Murthy, ma'am. I am from IIT Kharagpur student, PhD student. This is Paul.
You could please switch on your mic. Oh, sorry, camera. Is it possible?
Yes. You talked about useful online databases for researchers, like bibliographic databases, and for example is ERIC. So, and next one is Agri, something I missed it. Can you go to that slide, ma'am? So what is the useful of bibliographic databases? Can you elaborate? So science direct database and all.
Here I have discussed only ERIC, one database.
Okay.
We have not discussed the other one, right, under bibliographic databases. Okay. So as I said, this one is useful for topic searching also, and also for indexing bibliography from various journals and from peer-reviewed journals. So this is for basically citations and your references from different journals. Citations and references, but can be used for topic searching also. So only one I have discussed, that is ERIC. The remaining I have not discussed here.
Thank you.
All right, so once again, I am thankful to all of you. जी माउस चार्जर प्लीज.
With this, we come to the end of our one-day session of our of one-week training program. I extend my thanks and gratitude to our speakers, our online and offline participants for their kind cooperation and peaceful listening. We will meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. at same place with new zeal and enthusiasm for the upcoming sessions of the training program on research methodology and innovative statistical application. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.